Let's talk about the viewport navigation and transform property of Cinema 4D. Okay, here you can see a blank viewport over here. It's a perspective view. I can navigate other viewport by pressing F1 for perspective, F2 for top view, F3 for right view, F4 for front viewport, and F5 to navigate the all viewport at a time. Okay, again I press F1 to jump back to the perspective viewport. You can press this small icon over here to see all four viewport at a time. Okay, fine. Now let's talk about the navigation of the viewport. Here you can see small icons over here. The first icon is for panning. I can click on this object and I can pan my viewport very easily. Next thing is for zoom in or zoom out in viewport. And third thing is for rotation of my viewport. To do these all things by using a keyboard shortcut, you can press Alt and left click for rotation of the viewport. Only middle click for zoom in zoom out, and Alt and middle click to pan the viewport. This you can do the same thing by using a keyboard shortcuts. Now we'll repeat these all things by using a object. So I click over here, I create a very small object or basic primitive of torus. You can see the 3D object over here. I can press F2 to see the orthographic view of this torus. You can see from top, I can see the orthographic view of this torus. Okay, let's see from right view. You can see the side part of this torus. I can press F4 for a front. Okay, now the circular object, front and side or right will be same. I jump back to F5 to see this object from different viewports. Okay, I press F1 again to jump back to perspective view. Fine. Let's pan it, zoom it, and rotate it. Okay, so you can you do with your keyboard shortcuts, Alt and left click for rotation, middle click roll for zoom in zoom out, and Alt and middle click for panning. Okay, let's talk about the transform controls. What are the transform controls? Transform control means we can move object, we can rotate object, we can scale object by using these transform controls. Okay, here you can see the transform control over here. The first one is for move, shortcut is E. Second one is for scale, shortcut is a T. And the third one is for rotation, shortcut is R. So whenever we want to move any object, we can press E to get a transform control. You can see we already have this transform control or move control. I can click and drag this on this particular axis. It's a Z axis. You can see over here, it's showing over there in which axis we are moving it. You can see some number changes over here that is showing that how far we move our object in Z axis. Same with the Y axis and same with the X axis. Okay, the next thing, I press R for rotation controls. This thing we call gizmo, rotation gizmo. I just rotate that like this. In any another axis, I can very easily rotate that like this. The next thing is for scaling. I press T, or I can click over here for scale controls or scale gizmo. See, again I can scale it in a Z, X and Y. Okay, now it's look real. It's understanding rotation or scaling in circular object is a little bit difficult over here. So I just delete this object by pressing delete key, and I click another object, or I create cube over here. Now I can go to the scale controls and I can see, okay, these small controls over there. You can scale it in a Y, scale it in a Z, and scale it in a X. This way we can manage this thing. This we can modify the transform controls.